This week, I kick off my 2025 Winter Art Show season in a freezing cold South Florida, second-guessing my new pricing structure, upgrade my comfort, and have a celebrity sighting. We've got a real celebrity sighting here as I exhibit at the Las Olas Art Fair in Fort Lauderdale. Well, good morning from an unusually and kind of uncomfortably cold South Florida this morning. I'm here at the Las Olas Art Fair in Fort Lauderdale. It's my first show of the year. This has been my first show of the year for probably the past 11 or 12 years, I think. It's always a good solid show to start out most years. Hopefully the same holds true this year because I had such a big break with shows in the fall that I really need a good show to kind of get back on track. I'm usually excited and revved up to start my show season. This usually marks the beginning of my most busy season of the year. I'm not quite as revved up as I usually am about doing shows, probably because I had such a big break in the fall. And ever since becoming a parent, I'm just extra tired all the time. And it makes getting up for these 5 a.m. setups a little bit more difficult. I also just got back from a few weeks in Europe, so maybe I am a little jet lagged or something. We took Milo over to celebrate the holidays and his birthday, which is on Christmas. So we visited a bunch of European Christmas markets. I have a whole video about that if you look back on my channel, if you're interested in seeing what we did over the holidays. But now I've got all my layers on so I can stay warm, but at least it's a great day for an art show. It should keep people off their boats and off the beach, and maybe they'll come down here and buy some art. So it'll hopefully be a really great day here at the Las Olas Art Fair. Every year I always look for ways that I can improve my art shows and make things a little bit better than they were the year before. And one of the things I did this year that I haven't done in a couple years is I raised my prices pretty significantly across the board. I had been selling really well at the price point that I was at, but just like everything lately, the cost of my materials and especially the cost of shipping, whether it's shipping material to myself or shipping pieces to collectors, has really increased over the past year or two. So in order to keep up with that, I did a pretty significant price increase, and I was a little nervous about that. I'd been selling really well at the price point that I was at, and I feel like I was really kind of maximizing my profits where I was, but I'm always looking for that sweet spot for pricing my artwork where I'm selling the most amount of work for the most amount of money and making the most amount of profit on every piece. For example, just using random numbers, if I'm selling 3 pieces for $1,000, I could raise my prices and then sell 2 pieces for $1,500, and even though they're both bringing in $3,000 total, I'm actually making more money by selling fewer pieces because I have less material and time cost to produce 2 pieces than I do to produce 3 pieces. But what I don't want to do is increase my prices from $1,000 where I'm selling 3 pieces to $1,500 and then just sell 1 piece. And maybe fine-tuning that to where I was selling 3 at $1,000, I could still sell 3 at $1,300, but I would only sell 2 at $1,500. And that's what I mean by finding that sweet spot. And I keep a really detailed record of all of my sales and sales years over year and show over show, so I can really analyze this stuff to find what I think is the best pricing structure for me. I know a lot of people have asked me about these signs that I have up in my booth that show the price and size for each piece and share a little bit of a story for every piece that I have, because each piece of my artwork does have a unique story and intention behind it, so I try and share a little bit of it on these signs that I make and hang in my booth next to each piece. I've experimented over the years too with listing my prices and not listing my prices on the signs, and I found that for me, listing my prices seems to work better. I don't think it really affected my sales, but my conversation styles seem to work better when I have my prices listed. I was actually having a conversation with my neighbor artist here in the morning about listing prices or not listing prices. He's actually experimenting with not listing his prices this season and going to see how that works for him. I think if you walk around at an art festival, you'll find about 60% of the artists list their prices and probably 40% of the artists don't list their prices. So I don't know that it really makes much of a difference. I'd love to hear from you guys whether listing your prices at the show or not listing your prices at the show works better for you, because I don't know that it so much makes a big difference for sales, but I think that it does make a big difference for different people's conversation styles. And I'm always interested in hearing different opinions and different experiences, so I'd love if you guys shared that with me and each other. But I am a little bit edgy because I'm not sure if maybe I raised my prices a little too much or not enough, and is it going to make much difference? But with the show starting here in just a few minutes, hopefully I'll find out real soon. So I didn't have to wait too long to find out about my new pricing structure. It's about 11:30, and a couple came in who had seen me at a previous show and decided that they were ready to finally purchase their piece. Actually, the piece and the size that I raised my price the highest percentage on. So at least that's one case for my prices being in the right range still. Another thing I noticed is that I have a misprint on one of my signs for one of my pieces where I actually, instead of raising my prices by $400, I somehow did a dopey thing and lowered the price by $400. I have no idea how that happened, but so I'm gonna have to cross that out, or I was also thinking of maybe just leaving it and seeing if anyone noticed that it's priced significantly less than all the other pieces. Pricing artwork is probably the thing that most artists struggle with the most. I know I do. And pricing photography is vastly different from pricing other forms and other mediums of artwork. And the price range that I see photographers at probably varies the most, more than any other medium. I see, some photographers who are priced really, really low, and I think they're really hurting themselves and other photographers by pricing their work so low. And I often think that maybe we should come together as photographers and come up with one collective pricing structure for all of our work. Kind of joking, but I'm kind of serious too. So many people send me questions about pricing artwork. So I've been trying to come up with a way to present that in a video to kind of talk about how people should price their artworks. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that video. So we've got a real celebrity sighting here this weekend. Got Milo down at the art show. Say hi, Milo.
Hi.
What you doing?
I'm eating mango.
Where are we?
Art show.
This was the very first art show that Milo came to when he was about less than 3 weeks old. He was maybe 2 weeks old when he first came to this art show, and he came last year, and continuing the tradition, came down this weekend. Another new thing I have this year that I don't know if it'll improve my shows, but it might improve how I feel at my shows, is I got a new chair.
I have a chair.
I let someone sit in my old chair and they broke it. It wasn't their fault. It was an old chair and it was getting time to replace anyway, but I just randomly ordered a new chair off of Amazon, and I think I hit the chair lottery here. This chair that I got was actually less expensive than my old chair and is about 100 times more sturdy, only weighs slightly more than my old chair, so it's still really lightweight. It folds up really nicely, and a lot of artists were checking it out yesterday and asked me where I got it, so I'll put a link for that in the description. My old chair used to fall over when it got windy, and I don't see this one falling over. It even has these little, I don't know what they are, what to call them, but these little feet on them, so when the ground is uneven, the chair can still rest nice and even on the ground.